Euro goals with
Mallorca welcome the beginning of a new season at a new home. The San Juan Stadium full to capacity for the biggest season in their recent history. And today, a chance to get the season underway in the best possible fashion by inflicting defeat on Real Madrid. New Argentine coach Mario Gomez has a really tough act to follow here. The summer has been punctuated by a series of high-profile departures and low-key arrivals. Along with Hector Cooper went Dani, Marcelino and the keeper Roa. And amongst the new arrivals, striker Quinteros from Argentina Juniors and Zaragoza, who makes it on the bench. Much then rests on the shoulders of the experienced, such as Stankovic, Soler and Laurent. So what of Real Madrid then? And a manager that seems to have the words stopgap printed above his head. A host of major summer signings, including the record purchase of Anelka and Steve McManaman, both of whom are not Toshak buys. He does, though, have something to smile about. The internal problems now seem resolved with the exit of Sukhomijatovic and Panucci, leaving just the Clarence Seedorf situation unsolved. Anelka then gets his debut today, playing alongside his preferred partner in Morientes. Debut too for Julio Cesar, who arrived in the summer from Valladolid. Steve McManaman makes it to the bench, and there's injuries too to Elvir Baljic, who signed in the summer from Fenerbahce, and Ivan Helguera of Espanyol, who doesn't make it into the side either this afternoon. Early touch for Roberto Carlos, but he's taken really out of the game very quickly, and Quinteros with a chance in the very opening minute to get Mallorca off to a flying start. Anelka's already been much in the press talking about his favoured partners, and he's already created a storm in Barcelona with Rivaldo announcing to the world and anybody who wants to listen that he's a better player than here. This is Salgado. That's a great through ball. Morientes. Anelka is on the edge of the 6-yard area. That's Raul with the first go, Raul with the second go. It looked like a handball. And the referee waves away any protests, and Burgos gets away with it. Oh, there's Morientes, and Anelka had his arm raised. And Raul had two bites of the cherry, couldn't get it on either occasion. A definite look of handball. Here is Nicolas Anelka. Trying to run at Severio. Still going, Anelka gets a lucky band. Cesar in front. This is Raul looking to make space. Roberto Carlos, Raul making his way into the penalty area, but Raul was not needed as Roberto Carlos puts Burgos under pressure at his near post. Luckily for him, clear high and wide. Again, breaking play up easily in the middle of the field. This is Ngonga. Totally unchallenged, 20-yard run by Ngonga. Madrid standing off. Quinteros is in the middle and around the side of Ilgner's post. And it was a shot from Carlos and Bodo Ilgner. And he looked to have it covered, though. Quinteros enjoyed a really successful season with Argentina Juniors last season. As Cesar, that's another defence-splitting pass, and Raul this time hits the post. He's still there. Another great opportunity for Real Madrid. Wonderful ball from Cesar. Severio! And again, Ilgner scrambling across his goal, had it covered. As the half-time whistle goes, and Real Madrid have had the better of the chances in this first half. Mallorca have created very little. No changes then at half-time. Steve McManaman still on the bench. And Clarence Seedorf has gone public before this game about his differences with the manager. It was a controversial decision by Toshak to leave him completely out of contention, even for a squad place here today. There's Raul once again. Anelka through the middle. And Seedorf has announced to the press at half-time that he will be seeking talks with the board. Later on this week, he's available for around £15 million, that is, and is reportedly interesting a host of clubs, especially in Italy, notably Inter Milan. Now there's Anelka. First chance, first real chance for Anelka, got away from his marker and rose unattended. Salgado and Julio Cesar have linked really well throughout the course of this game. That's going to be a penalty. Severio bringing down Morientes, and the referee in no doubt whatsoever. And you don't even need to look at that twice. A penalty for Real Madrid. And here comes Hierro, and a trailing leg of Burgos has saved the day for Mallorca. And he very rarely misses those, Fernando Hierro. Straight down the line, straight down the middle, and Burgos' trailing leg keeps it at 0-0. Stankovic is fouled. Not been in the game an awful lot. Quinteros goes barging through. That's going to be a goal for the number 8. That's Carlos. And Mallorca have the lead. Question marks will be raised about Bodo Illner's performance there from that free kick. Was nowhere near the ball. And Quinteros it was who came barging through that put him off. And took the ball almost out of his hands. He was just stood there just waiting for it to drop to safety. Roberto Carlos going on his own and almost spilt by Burgos in front of Raul. And looked as though it may have taken a deflection. It was just a wicked swerve on the ball. And substitutions then to be made. Steve McManaman makes his debut in the Primera Liga, with Real Madrid in need of some inspiration from somewhere, totally lacking in the middle of the field. It's been a pretty barren second half for Madrid so far. A long-range effort. Well, he's getting closer. Well, they lost one goalkeeper, Roa, to the cloth. And this one, Burgos, well, he reportedly prefers a bit of Metallica to Mallorca. And another substitution. Gabric for Quinteros receives a big round of applause. A positive opening by the Argentinian. And Gabric to a bit more steel in the middle of the field. There's Redondo. And Juti is about to make his way on for Nicolas Anelka. And whistles around the ground as Anelka comes off. And gets prepared to meet the friendly Spanish press afterwards. And big applause as well for Ngonga. And taking his place, one of the hardest men in Spanish football over the past decade, Nadal, the animal or the beast, whatever you prefer to call him. And the third and final substitution, Cerezuela. Another Argentine arrived from Lanús this summer. More defending to do here as Illner. Well, again, not the best use of the ball by the German international keeper. And that's not a bad attempt on goal either. Once again, Carlos showing his ability from inside the penalty area. No problem with the power or the accuracy. That's the positioning this time. McManaman, that's a lovely ball through the middle, and it's the equalising goal. And it's been scored by Morientes, but it was made by the substitute, Steve McManaman. A lovely first-time ball by Steve McManaman. And certainly it was not an easy finish for Morientes. Kept his head, stayed cool, and Madrid are back in the game. Redondo and Conga standing marking nobody in particular. And there's Raul. Oh, what a fabulous finish. And it's been something he's threatened to do since the opening minute of the game. Wonderful strike by the top scorer for Real Madrid last season. The first Spaniard to take the Golden Boot last season since way back in 1992. And what a start this season. 2 goals then in virtual injury time. Enough to seal an opening day victory for Real Madrid. And a happy opening day for Steve McManaman as well.
Goals with Gillette.
If Louis van Gaal and his Barcelona troops thought that this would be an easy contest against Zaragoza, they certainly were in for a surprise, because Barcelona had to wait till 75 minutes before they broke through against the stubborn Zaragoza defence with a goal from Luis Figo. Guardiola was the creator and Figo finished it off. Earlier Rivaldo had had the best chance for the home side in front of 75,000, but the goal seemed to inspire them, and they got a second to claim their first 3 points of the season with a neat finish from Dani at the near post. Barcelona 2, Zaragoza 0. Well, if in the end that match went according to form, it was anything but in some of the other games in Spain, with Racing Santander here in the green taking the lead against Valencia after 20 minutes. You have to question this, but Djukic, it looks like, got the final touch. An own goal, 1-0 to Santander. Then came a dramatic moment where Mendieta had the opportunity from the penalty spot. The alleged foul from Azania on Juan Sanchez. Mendieta struck his penalty wide, and you sensed that this wasn't going to be Valencia's night. A bitterly disappointing first 45 minutes for the home crowd, who expected so much. And then we had the drama of the second half. Another opportunity, this time it's another penalty, with Salvar given the opportunity after Munitis got in the box and found by Albaleda. Could Racing Santander go 2 up? They certainly could. A cool finish by Salva, 65 minutes gone, and Hector Cooper couldn't have believed what he was watching. Valencia 0, Santander 2. Well, then came the opportunity for Mendieta to at least get his name on the score sheet. This was another controversial moment. Ilya going into the area with Mendieta, and Salva committing the foul on Mendieta. And so for the second time, Mendieta with a penalty. This time he scored. It was too little, too late, and worse for Valencia. Carboni sent off with 5 minutes to go. Deportivo at home to Alavés, and the home side in the blue and white suffered a shock reverse after just 15 minutes. Angel Morales with a great goal, really embarrassing Songo, but it was a sweet strike into the top right-hand corner. The big story of the day for Deportivo was the performance of Roy Mackay, coming in here to grab the equaliser after Pauleta was the provider after 32 minutes. Deportivo began to click. Mackay was having a good game. João Lima, with the aid of a deflection, made it 2-1 on 34 minutes. And just before the break, it was Pauleta again who was to be the provider for Roy Mackay to head it home. 3-1 at half-time, and Deportivo had a new striking star in Roy Mackay. Well, Mackay was to complete a memorable hat-trick when he went on a solo run. This time the finish was exquisite, and Deportivo had a new hero in the hat-trick man, Roy Mackay. Deportivo started with an impressive Victory here against Alavés, 4-1 the final score. And hats off to Roy Mackay. A couple of years ago, Oviedo winning by 1-0 would inevitably a goal for Oli. He's gone to Betis, but Oviedo were 1 goal too good for Celta Vigo, one of the big successes of last year, and it was the man who came from Auxerre, Frederic Danjou, who got the only goal of the game. A really good competitive contest, this one, and a fine 3 points for Oviedo. Atlético Madrid are regarded as many people's best outside bet for the championship this season. But after their disappointing home performance against Rayo Vallecano, Hernandez opening the scoring, one would have to say a mistake by Tony, giving him the opportunity as the ball came across. Hernandez with a free header, 1-0 Rayo Vallecano. Well, in this lesser of the Madrid derbies, it was the visitors, Rayo Vallecano, who secured the points with Juan Ferron getting the goal. Disappointment for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Bitter disappointment, though, for Atlético Madrid and their followers. Rayo Vallecano winning 2-0. With Luis Fernandez still banned and having to watch this match from the stands, this was a disappointing game between Bilbao and Betis. The closest we came to a goal in the first half, this shot from Uzayes after a short free kick from Julian Guerrero. The only goal of the game, though, was to come 2 minutes after the break. It was well executed this time, with Exteperia making no mistake. After the pass across the face of the goal left it open for him to finish things off. Betis were to suffer further disappointment right at the end of the match when captain Alexis was sent off for a second yellow card. Certainly he can feel harshly treated. All he was sent off for was for the opposing wall not retreating 10 yards. Bilbao, though, started with 3 points. They look set to have a reasonable season. It's not just been the World Athletics Championships taking place in Seville this weekend, also this Primera clash between Seville and Real Sociedad. But after just 6 minutes, the home fans must have been disappointed to see their side go behind to a fierce strike from Francisco de Pedro. Promoted Seville, though, were determined to get back into the contest, and they had a great opportunity and did in fact equalise after 18 minutes. Juan Carlos taking the second opportunity as Oliveira, having initially hit the post with this effort, presenting him with the opportunity for Juan Carlos, who made no mistake, one each. A bit of controversy for the free kick scored by the Greek Vasilis Tassatis. He was only allowed to play after appeal against his suspension for an accumulation of yellow cards last year. Seville side delighted he did. 2-1 they led. But there was always going to be some drama in Spain this weekend, and a controversial penalty. This time, though, the referee had no doubt. Marchinena on Guerrero, and an opportunity for De Pedro 7 minutes after the break to grab an equaliser for Real Sociedad. The coolness of De Pedro had to be admired. It was a classic penalty. It was the equaliser for Sociedad, the final scoring action of the match. 2 each in Seville. Well, it's a good weekend for